News.
Yes.
Yes. But next year we'll wait to see how we pronounce New Year. Anyway, the overseer this morning is talking about the Tema oil refinery. Have you seen those videos going around on social media? Some plumes of smoke going out, and the indication is that store is back. But I haven't been there. I've not checked it myself. The overseer has, and the overseer is telling us that Tor is back. They're refining 28,000 barrels of oil a day. So there's the CEO, Edmond Combat, or the managing director of Tor, who's been featured on the front page of the overseer this morning, pointing to some good news.
No, it's good. It's good that we're refining oil.
It is.
But it's also important we have a conversation. Now, yes, when you refine oil, you get all the byproducts of crude. So that's good. In the scheme of things, can Tor actually refine our daily need as a country?
A bigger conversation.
And that bigger conversation we must have. Because you see, Blessed, we need to have a conversation about creating indigenous businesses. So can we then begin to think about building a new refinery or expanding Tor? Okay.
Yeah.
I always have a challenge when we're thinking about going into partnerships as a country, because we'll go into a partnership and later find out we're shortchanged. But you can actually, if we do it well, go into a partnership and get a bigger refinery. So Tor can refine about, say, 45,000 barrels. Is that what we need? Get a bigger refinery and look at the possibility of actually exporting crude oil and its byproducts. So it's good. Edmond Combat and the team, they're doing some great work. But let's have the bigger conversation.
Yeah, very important. Very important. The Agric Minister is also featured on the front page of the Overseer this morning. Agric Minister launches Prosper project in the north. So some good news there. And Gamanche calls for truth, unity, and shared accountability as Ghana leads global reparations agenda. I was at the Diaspora Summit over the weekend. It was a 2-day event, just trying to harness the spirit and importance of the Ghanaian diaspora. So there you have it on the front page of the Overseer this morning. The bigger story, we all saw the pictures from the Jubilee House yesterday. The Constitutional Review Committee has presented the report finally to President John Dramani Mahama. They are proposing a 5-year presidential term.
Let me say good morning to the Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini, Member of Parliament for Tamale North. No stranger to this platform and to this work. Good morning, bro.
Good morning, Wisdom.
How's it going?
I'm terrific. I think that I was just telling Sammy that I have lost my spark as a journalist because the fact that I'm late shows that I'm losing touch with my first love.
Oh, you see, but don't
my
worry.
sincere apologies.
We can understand. I'm told there's a lot of things happening in town these days.
Yes, and especially this morning, I don't know why the servicemen and women decided to take over very important roads from the Gifford Road all the way to Kaokudi area.
Okay.
I think they are doing a joint operation. It looks beautiful though, but the timing, I'm wondering if it is appropriate.
So
yes, because it has created a lot of traffic, unexpected traffic on that stretch. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what's in the New Finder.
Yeah, so I have the New Finder newspaper this morning, and you have bars of gold on the front page with the headline, Gold surges past $4,400 to hit record high. And the details of that is on page 8 of the Finder, the New Finder newspaper. You have government moves to modernize cultural laws to boost creative economy. Predictable monetary policy key to Ghana's economic recovery is also on page 2. And the New Finder is announcing that it's taking a break.
Oh, they're going on a break. We don't get to have a break.
Yeah, it's always working.
Yeah.
The Economy Times is also here this morning talking about the finance minister and the fact that performances of the performance of the economy remains strong. So it's also being featured on the front page here. And the BOG's Dr. Isiama applauded for the landmark NIBF framework. NPA will also kickstart the 24-hour fuel stations concept. Probably something that Winston, you're on the lookout for on your way
Well,
to work?
anything that creates job, but of course also, when you're a businessman, you look at the viability of that model. So it's not just saying I'm starting it.
Yeah.
Yes, there could be incentives, but is there demand for it? I mean, I've seen, and we know there are fewer stations around Osu that operate 24 hours.
24 hours already,
yes,
yes.
so already. So that's because there's demand, and they do that at times when people are partying hard. You know that people may run out of fuel and may run into it. I mean, come buy fuel and all of that. So you want to ask yourself the question: 24-hour fuel stations. If it's necessary, why not? Let's go for it. And if they can provide security, so be it.
And probably we should be finding one of these in one of the pages of the newspapers. But I was just going to point out to the money that the Roads Ministry has released for.
The wonderful.
Well,
projects,
and apart from the money,
yes.
in fact, I am excited about how some of our contractors are also working day and night. The talk has always been that in developed countries, you tend to have contractors working more at night because it is more peaceful, the focus is greater, and the interruptions are less. And I am excited to note that some of our contractors, especially on the big push projects, have actually started working deep into the nights. I have not monitored to see if they are doing 24 hours, but I see them work by day and sometimes deep into the night. And I'm hoping that in the coming new year, they will up their performance and improve upon their work schedules, because many of them have actually promised to finish their jobs within schedule.
And Winston, there's a question about
the deadline.
clarity on the funds. What the president announced in terms of what was released. Is it for every contractor, or this is just for a portion of the work going on across the country?
No, so earlier, about 6 billion Ghana cedis was released to contractors who had their IPCs validated, their certificates validated by the finance ministry. So at the road ministry, you have different streams of payment systems. You have contracts that are awarded and paid for under GOG, and that is mainly handled by the finance ministry. So that first portion of about 6 billion was mainly handled by the finance ministry. They carried out the audit of the certificates that were raised for payment. You recall my boss, the minister Kwame Agota, indicated that we took over a debt portfolio of about 40 billion Ghana cedis arrears that had to be settled. So those areas were audited, and based on that, about 6 billion was released to pay down these areas. Now, what the president announced on Sunday is another stream of payment that comes from the Road Maintenance Trust Fund. It used to be known as the Road Maintenance Fund, but we decided to change the legislation to improve upon governance, to improve upon transparency, accountability, and especially equity, because over the years it operated as a secretariat under the chief director's office, and so accountability, equity, and good governance structures were not put in place. But with the new law, it now operates similar, not the same, similar to the GET fund, similar to the District Assembly's Common Fund, now has a full secretariat on its own, and will now operate with a formula that will ensure that funds that are available to it are distributed equitably across the country. Because in the past, because it was just under the chief director's ambit, there were times that a year or two, some regions, some districts will not even experience any maintenance at all. But now there will be a formula that will be approved by Parliament to ensure that every district gets some maintenance funds at least every year. So that is the fund the president was speaking about on Sunday, which has accumulated about, we are told, over 1.8 billion that the finance minister is supposed to release to pay contractors who had contracts under the road fund. And he's indicated that about $1 billion be released to especially the small and medium contractors.
Around 2017.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go for the online news review, and let's start with myjoyonline.com this morning here on the Super Morning Show, so we can get the Honorable Suhuyini's views on lots of these stories, particularly to do with the constitutional review. So the main story: Atlantic Lithium submits revised mining lease to Parliament. Also talks about foreign minister, Blackwater dispatches mission to Latvia over alleged murder of Ghanaian student. EC bosses face one-term rule as CRC pushes firewall against political influence. Supreme Court numbers under knife as Constitution Review Committee proposes cap. And minority in parliament says partisan governance is destroying livelihoods. And also says CRC proposes 10-year single term and new removal processes for Chief Justice. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
And one of the things.
What's your biggest take, Winston?
There's this whole conversation about
Yeah.
5-year term of the president. The fact that the age when it comes to qualification, the age also be reduced.
Yeah.
And
To 30.
lots of.
Agree.
MPs now they say for you as member of parliament and deputy minister, you have no business being a deputy minister.
Yeah.
So proper separation of
Yeah.
powers, they'd say. What do you make of their recommendations?
Well, some of the recommendations were expected, and they are popular, and I think that they are appropriate. Some of them, they make you raise your eyebrows a little and wonder, what the intention behind that.
Which ones make you raise your eyebrow and act?
I knew that's where you were going to go. I mean, so the term limit, I think is still open for discussion. 5 years, 7 years, 1 term, 2 terms. I mean, it's still open for conversation. The role of parliamentarians in the executive is obviously something that I also think will get a lot of attention. I mean, I know that I'm going to sound very, I don't know, I can't get the appropriate word because I was in the media and I know how, discussions around parliament and parliamentarians go down, and so now that I am on the other side, I think that many of the conversations are had based on misunderstanding. And unfortunately, parliamentarians are very vulnerable, because of the cycle of elections that we have and how sometimes decisions of voters are based on perception, either right or wrong. So they are unable to advocate for themselves.
Okay.
Because advocating against public opinion is a risky thing to do. When especially the public have a say in whether you keep your job or not. So it makes it difficult for that misunderstanding and misconceptions and perceptions that are wrong to be confronted and dealt with. And perhaps that is why you have members of parliament living with that perception that they are, if you like, pampered and enjoying too much, and some limits must be put on
the average
them.
Ghanaian, Ghanaian, Honorable Suhuyini, the average Ghanaian makes the point that, and we've made these points before in the past about a separation of power.
Yeah,
we have talked about the fact that Parliament is supposed to be the institution that actually has oversight, and here oversight is a goal of accountability. So Parliament is a key institution. In fact, in the Public Financial Management Act, every covered entity in presenting their accounts for a financial year must indicate how they actually incorporated recommendations from the Public Accounts Committee, which you've been a member of before.
No, I wasn't. I was at Appointments
Committee.
Right.
The Public Accounts Committee. You must show how you've incorporated their recommendations even into your accounts.
Right.
Now, the question they ask is, imagine you as roads minister in Parliament, tasked with the oversight of other ministries. You are in the same boat. You are in the same boat.
I mean, there's a point there, a very good point there that has been made. But you see, first of all, our country has a history, and it is the history that led to the current fusion of the legislature and the executive. Let's not lose sight of that fact. I mean, have we overgrown what necessitated this fusion? We need to assess the situation. Beyond that, Winston, if you look at established democracies like the British democracy, you have the prime minister mostly from parliament.
Yes.
You know, and so they also have a semblance of the fusion between the legislature and the executive. So really, what are we seeking to cure? That's why I'm saying that there will be, debates and conversations. The issues I'm raising are not necessarily my point of view on this.
Okay.
They are just thoughts that have come to me as a result of the introduction of this conversation.
But from your
I'm yielding to convincing arguments that can go for the suggestion. But I also just think that it is important that we keep our minds open as we have this discussion. Because you see, let me just land on this note and I come to you. You see, the point you made about overseeing colleague ministers or ministries, it is a good one, but then it also comes with the experience. You know, if you are in the executive, for example, and you are the ministry, you are to lead agencies, to do the presentations, it affords you an understanding of what goes into their work also when you are in parliament and they are making excuses. You know those that are legitimate excuses and those that are just wishy-washy excuses because of your experience of working at the ministry also.
But you see, is that also the more reason you have to separate this? And I'll give you an example.
Right.
So the Speaker of Parliament says he rejected appointment as chairman of the National Health Insurance Authority. Now imagine if you had the Speaker of Parliament, this is for purpose of analysis, Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, as board chairman of the National Health Insurance Authority under the Ministry of Health. And the Ministry of Health, so then as board chairman, he reports to the Minister of Health. The Minister of Health is also supposed to account to Parliament. Now the Speaker who's supposed to be in the chair,
leader of the
who would admit things that would happen, is actually in the scheme of things when it comes to the health insurance, reporting to the very person that he's supposed to oversee when it comes to dealings of the health ministry. This is what people say. It defeats the purpose of accountability. You have cited the British example. Some would also cite the American example. But there's the other conversation that maybe we can have is the implementation of what we call a hybrid system and whether it's lived to expectation. You've heard Professor Raymond Atuguba consistently say that while our constitution may not be bad, the framers thought that the people who would implement it would be reasonable not to take advantage of it.
Fantastic point.
Unfortunately,
it's always been my argument.
They may not have been.
The laws is about character sometimes of the people who occupy those positions.
Once you don't have
not
those
only
people,
about the laws.
Once you don't have those people, sometimes the argument is then you go and tighten it. Because while you're expecting them to do the right thing, since they are not doing it, you would agree, since they are not doing it, tighten it. So that when we now are sure we will do the right thing, you're losing it. So they do that, right?
I agree with you. And you see, again, the example you gave with the Speaker and then the Minister of Health. I mean, another argument one can make, and like I said earlier, let's keep an open mind, is that because the Speaker knows the expectation of Parliament, when he acts as board chair, he's going to guide the process to ensure that they do not do things that Parliament will not accept. I mean, that's another argument that can be logical.
Okay. You have a paper with Dauda about public accounts.
Yes, about the public accounts.
Okay, I'm coming to that. And I'm coming to you on the things that you actually suggested in that paper.
Yes. That's why I say I like these conversations. They are not, you see, the arguments are advanced are not necessarily my points of view. They are just based on my understanding and observations and exploring what's best for us. So, and excite, and they are meant to excite the conversation and debate.